Hello! Today I am going to be talking about the book Flowers in the Attic. Sorry. It is written by V.C. Andrews. Now, this is a very good book. It is not kid appropriate, to say off the bat. And just to get it out of the way, there are situations of incest within the book. So just throwing that out there, I'm sure that's a turn off or a trigger to some people. I would still recommend it because it is a good book. Now, on to the plot. We have our main four characters who are Catherine. Now, you actually read from her point of view. You have Catherine, who is the second oldest. You have Christopher, which is the oldest brother, Corey, and Carrie, who are the younger twins. Now, what happens is that these four kids and their mom and their dad live in the perfect suburban neighborhood or house. They have a wonderful life. They go to a good school. Everything is picture perfect. Now, Catherine is a ballet dancer. She was a ballet dancer before she went in. So that's something to note, is that she's really into ballet. Christopher is wanting to be a doctor, so he is super smart. And the twins are like 3 or 4. So they're just cute little kids. And then one day, while they are throwing a surprise party for their dad, a police officer comes and tells them that their dad died in a car accident. Now, once this happens, the mom goes a little crazy. And from that point on, they actually start to debt collectors start contacting them because a lot of the stuff that was in the house, they paid for with a credit card, or they had a loan against it. They still owed money on their house, and the mom wasn't working, so they had no money, and they didn't save really any money, so there was a huge struggle going on. Now, their mom was able to get in contact with her parents, who are stupid rich, old school money rich, way inherited money rich. And the mom gathers all 4 of the children. She lets the bank take over the house and gets rid of all their stuff. They can only take 1 luggage each. She puts them all on a train, and they go to where her parents live. Now, once they get off the train, they all have to walk to the mansion that her parents own, or the estate. And as they are going there, the kids are asking a lot of questions about their grandparents, which the mom kind of just gives a very brief overview on. She doesn't really go into depth, except that, her parents have a lot of money and her dad loves her because she's the only daughter and she's really spoiled and yada, yada, yada. And now as they go there, the mom's mom, the grandma, meets them. Grandmother lays down a bunch of rules within the first 24 hours they're there. She has a list of at least 10 rules that they have to abide by. Now, the grandmother is very, very religious. Very religious. And from that point on, as they enter this house, this giant mansion that's full of amazing things and beautiful art and just a gorgeous estate with a giant yard, and there's a lake there that they could go and swim in. At that point forward, the first night they are there, they are not allowed out of the upstairs bedroom. They are stuck on the 3rd or 4th floor of this house. They cannot leave the room. It gets locked from the outside. And all 4 of these kids have to stay there. The only other room they have access to is the attic, hence the name of the book, Flowers in the Attic. And they try their best to keep basically the little kids happy because they have a really hard time not seeing their mom, for starters, because the mom only starts seeing them once a week. Within the first couple days, she actually sees them, but after a certain point in time, she only starts seeing them once a week. These guys spend, I think it's 3 years or 4 years in the attic, something like that. It's a good stretch of time that they're there. Now, as the story progresses and the kids are still stuck in the attic, there is physical abuse that are done to the children. There is psychological abuse. There is extreme neglect, like where they basically starve to death, to the point where the oldest brother, Christopher, is literally cutting himself and giving his blood to his younger siblings to help them survive and eat, because he feels like something in their stomachs is better than nothing. Now, I would, again, recommend this book. However, at this point, if you don't want any spoilers, I think you should probably stop, because I'm going to rant for a little bit. So if you don't want any rant and ravings, you should stop now. But I appreciate you watching this far, and I hope you have a good day. Like I said, very good book. Highly recommend. Okay, I'm going to start with spoilers. Okay, bye. Okay, let's get real. The mother, like I said, not the grandmother, but the mother, she ends up falling in love with the attorney who is making up the will for her father, who happens to be dying. This crazy lady starts to poison her own children with donuts every single day. And they don't understand why they're sick or why they're so pale. Originally, the oldest two, Catherine and Christopher, think that it's because they don't have enough sunlight. But, like, the mom is literally poisoning them for, like, months. And the youngest, not the youngest twin, but the boy, Corey, who is one of the twins, he gets super sick. To the point, like, the grandmother is even concerned. And they tell her that he needs to go to a doctor. And the mom gets involved and takes Corey to the doctor. Corey does not return. This crazy lady, I'm going to tell you right now, this is like 3 books in the future that you figure this out. She never took him to the doctors. She never did. She's just fucking psychotic because she wants all of her dad's money. And she wants the estate. So part of the will is like, she can't have any of the money if she had kids with her first husband. Because guess what? Her first husband was actually her freaking uncle. True. Her first husband was her uncle. She ends up marrying the attorney, and her whole plot is that she's going to kill off her children so she doesn't have to be burdened by them, so no one finds out about them, and she can have all the money and live happily ever after. Well, what happens instead is that the kids find out that she's not right in the head, and that her dad has been dead for a while, and they're still locked up in the attic. She's been lying to them, telling them that her dad's still alive and that they have to keep it a secret and stay quiet and just wait a little bit. But the kids find out the truth because they're able to sneak out of the room. Eventually, they make like their own key and they get out. Once they figure out what's really going on, they escape. Catherine, Christopher, and Carrie escape. And what they do is, like, for a couple months, they leave their room and they steal money, or they steal things that they think are valuable enough to sell along the way, and then they get the hell out of there. And the end of the book is them leaving, and they're on a bus, and they're going away. There are 3 more books after that also continue the story. These books are super good. Like I said, there is incest in the story. So you might not like that, but the story itself is really good. It is a very long book. I listened to it on Audible, and you really feel for these kids. You really get a good connection to them as individual characters. Oh my God. I really can't say enough about this story. I really hope someone who watches this video decides to read it. There are adaptations. There's 2 movies of The Attic and the Flower. One was done in like maybe the 90s, and then there was a newer one done more recently. Now, I mean, they're not too incredibly far off from the books, but I always feel like you get more from the books than you do from movies. So anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day. I hope you stay safe out there. And yeah, bye everyone.